In this collection of videos, we've put together some strategies that you're going to use for finger, forearm and hand health and performance. Number one is that we're going to look at how to warm up effectively at the CRAG or for any of your training sessions. Number two is that we're going to look at how you can address that endurance aspect of your training off the wall. So not climbing, it's more looking at portable pickup devices, pinch blocks for really addressing the forearm endurance that you're going to transfer back into climbing. And then lastly, I look at the MCP joint in the hand and how that relates back into certain grip positions and how we can work to improve that, again, to increase those performances. More and more of us are getting outside now and getting out to the crags, whether it's bouldering or sport climbing, and warm-ups are going to be an issue. You've gone from your home, warm environment, getting onto a fingerboard, really warming up very easily, whereas what I want to do is I want to show you how I warm up at the CRAG for my fingers in particular. So really addressing the fingers and forearm here with a portable CRAG board, and how I can do that as fast and as efficient as possible with an absolute minimum number of tools. So just your hands, your body, the floor, and your fingerboard, which will be a portable one at the CRAG, and we're going to do that in the next 3 videos. Number one is I want to get my arms warmed up and I want to get my hands warmed up. So there's 2 methods I use for this. Rather than doing the whole kind of arm circling thing, I do arm punches and hand punches. So what I try and do is I move my hand all the way through the full range of motion from the front to the top, all the way out to the side, and I may actually do some behind me. And I'm making it really vigorous, so I'm getting the whole chain of that arm warmed up. And then secondly, I'm gonna get the hands really, really warm. And my trick for this is to get the hands together, get them between my legs, and apply force so that I can create friction and warmth on the front and the backs of my hands. Next exercise I do, number 2, is jump pulls on your portable board. So I've got a fingerboard behind me. I'm going to grab a comfortable edge for me, and what I'm going to do is do a combination of essentially what is a micro jump with a pull up and a hang. So grab a comfortable edge, and from here what I'm doing is I'm just jumping and pulling in to that position. So it's a much lower load than normal, but it really activates the forearm, the grip position specific to what you want to climb in, and also the arm. And it's just such a nice way of warming up. And I cycle in and out of those. So I might do 5 to 10 jump pull-ups, do a bit more arm punching, then come back to 5 to 10 and keep repeating that as I feel more and more warmed up. Okay, so for exercise number 3, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do jump catches on my portable fingerboard. So what I'm looking to do here is get some kind of coordination element and really start to increase the recruitment in my fingers as I'm starting to get a bit more warmed up now. So I've got my comfortable edge again, specific to what I feel comfortable with, whether it's a 20 mil, 30 mil. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to adjust that hold there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little micro jump and catch that edge there. So coming in, catching that hold. So just starting to increase the levels of recruitment and intensity in terms of how I'm loading my fingers during that latter part of that warm up, and that works really well into the next exercise. Okay, last thing that I'll do when I'm at the CRAG and doing this warm up on my portable board is I'm going to get my edge again on the board, and I'm going to do what I call a no hang recruitment exercise. So I'm going to have the grip position here that I feel comfortable with. Quite often you can actually cycle through a number of grip positions, so you can warm up all your grip positions from 3-finger drag to half crimp to full crimp. And what I'm going to do is choose that grip position there. My feet are going to stay on the floor, and then over a period of 5 seconds, I'm going to pull down as hard as possible, really exerting close to 100% force on that grip position. Stop, swap over, come to the other side, and then likewise I can do exactly the same if I wanted to do it for full crimp to warm up for the CRAG, or I can do 3-finger drag, but always my feet are staying on the floor. One of the issues that we often face when we're trying to do endurance training, and potentially also power endurance training, is that we don't have a portable way of doing this at home, at the office, or even potentially at the CRAG after you finish climbing. So I'm going to show you a really good method where you can use some sort of lifting device. So I've got a pinch and crimp block that we make here, and then a set of light weights that you can really use to make significant improvements in your endurance in the forearm. Okay, so the equipment that you're going to use is a lifting pin with weights of maybe 2-3 kilos or so, possibly 4 kilos, or a sling holding those weights as well. And then a lifting block, crimping block, something that you can use portable to lift the weights off the floor. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach these on here, and then I'm going to find a nice comfortable position in which I can curl the fingers. Now what we're going to do now is we're going to go for a continuous exercise where we're going to be curling these fingers up and taking a rest period after that and doing our endurance training in this manner. It's pretty effective in terms of how it transfers back onto the wall, and it can be a really good replacement for low intensity fingerboarding. So what I'm going to be doing in this is I've been using a protocol where I'm going to do 7 curls, 3 seconds rest. 7 curls, 3 seconds rest. So hold the position here. I tend to hold here just so I can rest quickly. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Rest, 1, 2, 3. Come back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Rest. 1, 2, 3. Come back and repeat this. And I'll do this for continuous sets and reps, completing all the way up to 10 minutes of these cycles. 3 seconds off, 7 seconds on, swapping onto the other arm and completing that again. Really good low intensity arcing session that you can do with these kind of lifting style blocks, lifting pin, and relatively light weights. Quite an interesting factor that we see as being relevant within finger strength and grip positions that we use in climbing is that if we look at the MCP joint here in the hand and how this changes, how this flexes through 2 different grip positions, is we have our half crimp grip position here where we're at about 180, but if we close up closer towards a full crimp, you can see we get close to a 90-degree flexion in that MCP joint. So what I want to show you is a method for loading and training conditioning this joint to this change in grip position that we can do with a lifting block and using heavy weights, static, fixed from the floor, where we can load that joint in a particular way which transfers back into that grip position. So I've got my crimp and pinch block again here, and I'm going to be loading this joint heavily on this one. So really low time under tension, but high intensity. So I'm going to stack quite a bit of weight onto my lifting pin here, and this will take a little bit of experimentation to kind of get the right weight with it. But what we're looking for in this exercise is we're trying to get flexion in this MCP joint here to close to 90 degrees as we can, and then holding that isometric contraction in that position relevant to a full crimp grip. So we're moving from 180 into 90. So that's what we're really looking for on this exercise. So what I'm looking for on here in terms of loading my lifting grip and the weights on here is to achieve that 90-degree flexion, that MCP joint. So I'll start here at 180 degrees, load the fingers, and then bring that hand up into that 90-degree position. And you'll see that I'm not wrapping my thumb over and locking that thumb over the top of the fingers, but I am holding the isometric contraction at 90 degrees. Release after 7 seconds, drop the fingers, weight back down to the floor, and swap over to the other side. Starting that open grip position there, closing into that 90-degree angle, holding for my 7 seconds under tension, then releasing, and then I'll take 2, 3, 4 minutes rest, and then repeat again, perhaps total cycle of 4, 5, 6 reps in total. Okay, so I hope you've enjoyed watching those videos. We absolutely love this stuff. We're just so passionate about trying to explain what works, what's relevant to you as climbers to make improvements in your climbing. Now, one thing that we do is this Lattice 365 membership. And I want to point you towards that because everything that we do in these kind of videos is just like an open door to this kind of knowledge. But in the group, we have our coaches active there every single week. Almost every day of the week, we have a physio in there, and we also have a nutritionist active in that group. So I really want to just remind you that 365 is there for anyone who loves this knowledge but just wants to get a bit more support and kind of method for improving their training, and it's there on a weekly, monthly basis all the way through the year.